of, it is having some kind of stormy weather, he says. So he's attempting to come on. But while we are on, I think, first of all, I want to welcome you and introduce maybe to each other if you like, but we are here because of the raw technology, right? And who has a raw unit? I know Nisa and Frank have one. Does anybody else have one?
I just have the Jedi key.
I have the Jedi key too. Okay. So we are
Not that I can
Jedis.
feel the difference, but
Well, share if you have, if you know, if you feel a difference since you have it. What do you feel?
I don't feel a change. But then my energy is pretty good to begin with, so maybe
Okay.
I'm just more protected, right?
Maybe. I have noticed maybe a little bit more of clarity, like less brain fog or just more clarity.
Here's Winston.
Yes, Winston is here. Yes, hello, Winston.
Winston has some, Winston, you have some experiences with the SFC module and your microbes, and when you get your seeds, you'll see a difference in those, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Maybe you could talk about that. Winston left his microbes, and he can explain what those are, at our house next to the raw unit, the SFC module, for about a week, and we noticed a big difference.
So my microbes are just probiotics, but these are very broad spectrum probiotics. And so they go for a process of fermenting. Basically, I fermented them with turmeric and the probiotics. And so everything is calmed down, you bottle it up, and that's how you sell it. So with a bottle seal fermentation fully done, we put it under this machine for, I guess we could put the whole solid week. And when we opened it up, I had a bottle that was not processed versus the bottle that had a whole week of processing. All of us could just instantly tell that, wow, there was a difference, and it was fizzy. It had the fermentation process re-kicked back open. It was definitely a higher quality. It had more energy to it.
More taste.
And it tastes better too.
Yeah.
And
more effective.
Yeah, and it impinged. I mean, my product, even without the processing, if you do like a live blood analysis, you do a test before and after 10 minutes of consuming it, it'll change the live blood analysis and show how the blood platelets and whatnot will be going into a much better condition. Well, I can't imagine if we had done that to see what quality we would have really improved instantly and probably doubled the speed. So yes, this is very definitive. It wasn't like subtle. And all three of us instantly taste the difference. And it was definitely had a higher level of energy. And let's see, that's about what I can say about that. We haven't brought back over the second batch of seeds to replant the second batch. So there's still a few more days to go. So anyhow, that's about what I can say about this product as far as energy is concerned.
Great, great. Well, my friend and I, we drove across Florida and visited Nisa and Frank to experience that energy in their house. And we have seen the first thing that we saw was, or noticed, was tremendous grass that is growing in Florida in the middle of summer. And it's like springtime grass. So it's just within a week or so, it has grown like triple size. I have never seen such such growth in a long time. So that was the first impression. And of course, the whole vegetation in the whole neighborhood is just blooming and growing, and it just looks beautiful. The energy feels very, very soothing and embracing. You know, it's very harmonic, I would say. Very harmonic.
Did you say the whole neighborhood?
Yes, the whole neighborhood. Yeah. All the neighbors have green grass. There's no brown patches. There's no brown grass like you would usually find in Florida in middle of August. So
Wow.
all the grass is green. Yes. Yeah. It's quite interesting. Quite interesting. So that was that. And being inside the house, being in the energy field, it was, first of all, it was quite impactful, and I can describe what I felt. It was just like an overload on energy, which was, I felt like I'm in a vortex, and this energy just kind of, you know, going through my body and circulating. It was like a constant circulation of energy that kept on happening. And that and then after a while in that space, I felt so tired. It was like, and Frank and Nisa, they were sharing so many beautiful experiences and stories with us. And I kept on starting to drift away. I was like, wow, I can't just fall asleep now. It's like so rude. But
the healing process,
it was incredibly powerful. So I really had to fight it. And then we started talking, you know, after, of whatever the subject matter was, and that kind of perked me up, because I guess I needed to interact with it and share and so on. So it was quite profound, I would say. And the next day we went back, you know, and when we were sitting in the energy and sharing and praying and everything that we were doing, it was just a constant, harmonious, gentle presence, but it was constantly moving. Again, we were in this vortex, which just took us in and was doing whatever it needed to do. So my friend Diane, who was supposed to be on the call, but I guess she's kind of tired because she has had some health challenges. Recently, she, I think she was diagnosed with Lyme's disease in the last year or so. And then she had injured her knee. She is a ballroom dancer. She's a trapeze artist. She is very active. So she had knee surgery. So whenever she would do something active, her knees would hurt. And she told me today, she said, we went for a bike ride because I needed to move after sitting in the car for so long. And my knees did not hurt. But something was, and she also has macular degeneration. So she has issues with her eyes. And she said there was something was happening with her eyes that felt as if there was some sort of a detox going on. So she said, it just kind of feels a little heavy and whatever. So one of the eyes, and they were excreting some kind of gel-like, some kind of secretion was coming out. And so she decided that she wouldn't come on the call because I'm recording this so I can share it with her. But just to go and rest her eyes and rest her body, because obviously she was going through a lot. Her body was going through a lot. And she is in the medical field and in the holistic world for years. So she knows and understands, and is also very sensitive to energy. So she knows what's going on with the body. So I just wanted to share that. It was quite an interesting experience for sure. And she said she got a Jedi pendant as well. Actually, I got a second one just before the trip, and I gave it to her because hers didn't arrive yet. So she wore it all the time, but last night, in the middle of the night, she said it was too much. It was creating too much energy, and she couldn't sleep. It was kind of giving her a headache, so she had to take it off. Mind you, we were sitting in that vortex with all this energy with the pendant. So the pendant is already charged. Now it was really charged. So it doesn't surprise me that, you know, that happened and she had to take it off. So that's what I have to say about it. But
Yeah.
I know, Frank and Nisa, you have some amazing experiences yourself. Maybe you can share with the group too until Ra comes on. And I mean, you know, that's what the call is about. We wanted to share and also have him present what he has, you know, in store for everybody.
Well, it's possible that I noticed that the Zoom said 9 to 10 p.m. And he may not have thought about the fact that that's Eastern time, because he may have thought it was 9 to 10 p.m. Sedona time, but it was actually 6 p.m. Eastern time, although I mentioned it, but maybe when he saw it, that could be the explanation. But going back to what you said, Nada, about the pendant, Ra on his website recommends that you don't wear it at night for the first 3 days. I don't know how many, and plus she had gone into the energy and all that traveling and everything. And I never wear mine at night, and I don't think you do either, do you, Frank?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so
I
we feel that it's better to let the body rest. Everybody's different, but we feel it's better to let the body rest at night and then just have it on in the morning. But you can go by your own experience. But especially when there was such a profound healing, I thought you could mention one more thing, Nada, which is Nada did a beautiful special ceremony while we were in the living room together, Frank, me, Diane, and Nada, with the SFC module there and the one of the cubes. Another cube is in the back. And the ceremony, you said, was really enhanced by the energy. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yes. And well, we were in a vortex. I mean, this energy,
all the time it's been open.
this
that
energy is
right?
creating
Go all the way to
such
the other
powerful vortex.
what is with this here? I parked on the
Okay.
other side like I do.
Somebody is disrupting us. So maybe
That's Eddie.
is
Yeah.
that
Eddie.
Eddie is not on. I don't see him. Anthony, I think, is angry at Eddie. But anyway, so we were sitting in that vortex, and I don't know how, if you all kind of are in that space of understanding something about implants, seals, or attachments of some sort, or something that we attract or have been exposed to at some point, which if you are sensitive, you might feel it, and it is kind of inhibiting. So Diane was mentioning that he needs to be patched in. I don't understand why.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so she said that she feels like she has some kind of a metal plate somewhere in her brain, her head, which is causing a lot of her issues energetically. Okay, So while we were praying and creating a releasement of that attachment or that implant or that energetic, and being in the vortex of pure harmonic energy, what we were doing with our intention and pure heart was intensified, I don't know how many fold, but quite a bit. And maybe that is also which is affecting what Diane is experiencing now, you know, all that cleansing that is happening to her. But the energy is quite potent and very powerful and very harmonious. So there is no harm that can be done with it. And when you put in the positive intention or heart, unconditional heart-centeredness into it, it is just being multiplied, you know. So but as we were doing this, didn't you, Nisa, get a text from Ra noticing that something is going on and he wanted to know what's going on with us, with you, right? In your
Well, that was actually amazing. Just to recap for everyone, Nada and Diane drove all the way over from the east coast of Florida to the west coast, to our, you know, to us in Clearwater, and it's a long drive, and so they arrived around 7-ish, and we had dinner, and then they came back to the house and experienced that night the energy, and then that night, right after you ladies were gone back to the hotel, and Frank and I were like in bed, basically, I saw a text. Actually, I didn't actually see it till later, like in the morning or something, but Ra had tuned into the energy that began that night, even before the second day, even before the ceremony, and he said, "What are you guys doing? I feel so much energy." So he was something like that. That's not the exact words, but he was tuning into the energy and he wanted to know what was happening over at our house with his Ra unit. So the next day, we had this beautiful, we had some healing prayers, and we just decided to use the space for healing for everyone. And then Nada did this special ceremony that releases blockages or programming from the past. And which was very profound, and I felt a lot of lightning, you know, being more light. And when that was finished, Anthony, you might want to mute yourself if you're talking to someone else. And when that ceremony was finished around noon, I said, why don't we text Ron and see if he wants to talk now, which is about 9 a.m. his time. So he did call us just a few minutes later, and we had a long talk in which we all explained the profound effects that the Ra unit was having on our group ceremony, our spiritual enlightenment, basically. So not only does it produce the healing level, but that life force that comes from the primordial level of the fifth dimension, the very beginning, like the Big Bang level, basically below the scalar level, was influencing us all to have this super high sacred vortex space. And so then Ra was included in that, in our conversation before we went out for lunch, basically. And so the effects are really profound.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I have a question. Do you leave your cube on 24/7?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, Frank can answer that.
yes, we do.
Okay, and so you just take the pendulum off because uh, in the nighttime because it's just too much, or you get into too much.
Right, right, exactly.
But the cube doesn't give you detox problems running it 24/7.
No, the pendulum is if you read the website rawkey.com, the pendulum, according to what Ross said, is more for bodily healing.
Okay.
Whereas the SFC module, the box, which is about 10.5 by 13.5 inches, length, width, and height of 4.5 inches, it has a much broader reach, and it goes out through the whole neighborhood. In fact, Winston, if you drove around our block, Frank and I just drove around the block today because I was walking, but Frank hadn't seen it. And the grass is so much more emerald green.
Yes.
And it's just a whole different, Nada saw that.
Yes.
But just around the whole block, it's a whole different color. It's a whole different energy. And there's a couple houses that are about the same distance from the raw box and from us that weren't as green. And we figured maybe the humans in those houses weren't as connected. And because if there's not positive energy in the environment, then the SFC module cannot bring the life force there. It kind of rejects negative energy. So although we don't have because we were told by Eddie about the cubes first, we got the
Glasses of water, one will be.
but
with
we
the
felt a
lemon,
profound effect when we
and
got
then I'm gonna have
Ross.
the walnut chicken salad.
info. Maybe Nada, you can tell Anthony to mute.
I just muted him myself.
Okay.
Yes. It's
So,
okay.
Winston, you had said in a text today that you're going to be using your technology at 2 lakes
Yes.
in Florida. If you really wanted to do the experiment, you could talk to Ra and you could have your technology with one of the lakes is your technology without a module. Of course, you guys would have to talk. It would have to be a module that could be outside, or maybe you guys would have to figure it out. And the other lake could be with the module, and you could see the difference in growth. And I can tell you already, because Ross said that with our scalar units that we already had, he said that his raw unit, which is not that big, would increase their power by 1,000 times. And that's basically what we're feeling, that it's a lot more profound because it's a deeper energy that can't be programmed in a negative way.
Got you. Well,
Eddie,
I
ready to
definitely,
match Nisa.
Yeah, Eddie.
He's ready now. So
He's
maybe you
ready?
can do that. Yeah. he
Oh,
says so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say yes.
Well, you see, I can truly confirm what Nisa is saying about the grass, the color of the grass, and the height of the grass that has grown to that height within a week or so. It's just incredible. The grass color looks like the grass somewhere in the Midwest in the springtime. You know, it's really such iridescent color. It's really beautiful, you know, full of life, full of life.
yeah, we certainly need that because we've been having so much chemtrails, which pretty much in the last 10 years, Florida has not had any plants that has the correct green color they should have. They're all kind of palish color. The super dark greens are pale greens. The slightly pale greens are yellowing, or what we call iron corrosives or magnesium corrosives, right? So they're actually way too pale. So what you say really tells me that it's enhancing the soil-based microorganisms to do a better job. so that they go into harmony. And of course, the end result is you have a plant that looks much better. And one of the things about my test for the rivers, I'm doing a full test, because a lot of people have this just talk about, hey, we've done this great thing, we've done that great thing, but they don't have any scientific reports to back them. So my whole test for these lakes that I'm working on will have photographs, they will have immediate lab tests that I do, and I'll also have tests where I send it out to a third party and have a third party validating it. These are like 17 to 27 different reports, how much oxygen is available, how much chemical degrading of the oxygen is there. So these are all scientific reports from a third party confirmation. So when I finish that project, I can then do Ra's project. And this will be on a different, maybe not on the lake, but actually on a controlled piece of ground, right? And obviously I will try to make sure that the two projects are far apart from each other, because we don't really know how far Ra's equipment spreads over. So I'll probably try to do it a couple of 100 miles apart, so that we don't get unexpected influences there.
Yes.
Well, we did notice a difference in our neighborhood. So you could probably get away with 10 miles or even 50 miles at the most. I think you could get away with less miles and still see a difference. It's still going to affect because, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's it happens. The lake happens to be a 1 acre sized lake, and it happens to be 280 miles away from where we live now. But the second lake is a neighbor to that lake. So, okay.
Oh,
what happened to Eddie Taylor? Is he trying to get in?
Eddie Taylor is on my phone here. I don't, he's not dialed into the call, but he is on my phone. So,
okay, so he's on.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Say
Hi,
hi
Eddie.
to everybody.
Who's
Hi,
there?
Eddie.
Because I'm not sure who's on.
Okay, so we have Nisa and Frank, we have Veep, we have Winston, we have Anthony, who is very angry with you, I think. You have Dr. Charles, and you
Oh,
have
you know what?
Harman.
One thing I want to tell everybody, I've never heard of anyone getting angry at me. Okay, so who else is on? Dr. Trout?
Dr. Charles is on, yes. Herman
Dr.
is on.
Charles? Okay, good.
Herman, my friend Robbie is on, and there is a gentleman by the name of Jason, whom my friend Sandy shared the information with, who is interested in learning more about Ra and everything here. So,
okay, well, you know what? I'll fill in for Ra if I need to. If he's not here, maybe we have some people that haven't really talked on these calls, like Robbie can tell us about his world. Just serendipitously, we could start that way if Robbie wants to do that.
well, what we have been doing so far, since we are on it for a half hour already, we have been sharing our experiences with the unit from what we know. So, so that has been quite fruitful, I would say, because everybody wants to learn more about Ra and his products, you know, especially people that don't have it. So I hope he will be on soon. I don't know what's preventing him, because he confirmed that he's going to be.
You know what? He was in the middle of a laser
See if you can get him.
laser machining something.
I'll
right
try
now.
again. I'll try again.
Right.
He's trying to escape from that. So, you know, once you get these machines going sometime. But anyway, he's doing his best. We will see. But meanwhile, just a little bit, if anyone has a question about Ra or the science that hasn't been addressed, I might be able to fill in just a little bit more if anyone wants to do that.
Well, let me tell you what we have shared so far. So we have shared our experiences with the harmony in the energy field, with the enhancement of the energy, with the increase of you know, moving of the energy, which is creating like a detox and recalibration of the body system. We have talked about the growing of the grass, which is in such a vibrant spring color, like iridescent color, in around Frank and Nisa and the neighborhood, not just theirs, but around the whole neighborhood. And you know, and Winston has been sharing about the what's been going on actually everywhere, but in particular here in Florida, because of the chemtrails and all the pollution, that that color was not present in any of the growth for quite some time. So that this is happening is proof to him that something good is happening, right? That there is a shift in the nutritional component and the microbials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing, So so Nisa has suggested to Winston to experiment with cleaning of the water by using 2 lakes, correct?
Yes,
And
I'm working on one lake, and I have another lake that I have not done anything with as of yet. And so that's a possibility. I could utilize that other lake. And I just, while we were all talking and to Eddie, I just realized I can probably do a sugar analysis by doing a sugar test on grasses in my neighborhood, get an average, and go down to Nisa's neighborhood and get an average over there. And since they're greener, whatnot, potentially I should be able to see a percentage or half a percentage difference on average. So I might do that this weekend.
By the way, I just got a hold of Ra, and he's coming on. He did get confused about the Eastern time and the Sedona time, so he thought it was 9 p.m. Sedona time. So it's always good to put Eastern time and to give him the Sedona time. But anyway, now he's like, oh my gosh, I thought it was 9 p.m. Sedona time. So that's what happened. So he's coming on in a minute or two.
Okay.
Just for the record, I told him that 3 times exactly. Just
Yeah.
now, one
Well,
more
you know these
Hold on.
geniuses.
Let me say this. The Pima Indians, they grow the best cotton in the world. The Pima Indians grow the best cotton in the world. And the Egyptians, and they're interested. I personally talked to them. I cleared this with Raw. They grow 0.5% of the cotton is of this grade on the planet. They're in his state, and they want to know about his agri-magic.
Hi, everybody. Ra is on. Hello, Ra. Welcome.
Hi, Ra.
On?
Hello there.
So we're in. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yes, you're here. You're here. We just can't see you. We hear you.
Okay, let me see if I can add the camera. Okay.
Great. Sorry for whatever misunderstanding happened here.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Lisa looked out.
Yeah.
It's so much
we have been sharing.
Yeah.
I said we've been sharing with each other our experiences of your technology here.
Okay.
And I visited with my friend Nisa and Frank, so I had the first-hand experience there. But Winston was talking about the potential that it has, and he's going to test. I don't know, do you know Winston or off Winston?
I have no idea who that is. I have no idea what's going on in that department.
May I interject something for 2 microseconds? I've known Winston for well over 30 years. Nobody can introduce him better than himself for a few minutes. Winston, why don't you encapsulate your background and your interest in this conversation with Rob?
Okay, so I've been working on agriculture for the last 35 years, and nutrition and water and microbial technology. And so my whole intention is to actually use all the technologies that I do have to clean up rivers, lakes, oceans, and remediate the soil. And so far, most of the things that are done out there is all done with toxic chemistry, and they wonder why they can't fix up any rivers. So I'm unique in that sense that I'm using holistic, non-toxic methodology 100%, not partial. So I'm looking at your equipment to help in actually clean up the rivers, lakes, oceans, and soils on this planet. So that's probably in a nutshell my intention. I am doing a lake right now, and it's about 280 miles away from here. And basically it's a 1 acre sized lake. So it's a nice sized lake. And we're cleaning up the lake with my water equipment and someone else's frequency technology. And basically we're going to be doing a real genuine scientific report. So you have white papers, outside labs, immediate testing. So everything is carefully documented. So be like a university piece of paper, except not controlled by the university, but controlled by me. So that there's no hanky-panky on the business. So we'll have some real data here.
Yeah, no fudging the data.
That's right. And that's why I want my data testing and then send it out to a third-party lab. And I want to see if that data comes at least within the same range of what I'm testing. So we're quality checking back and forth. We're trusting no one, including my own reading.
Yeah.
You know? So there's just too many of us who have done a lot of good works on the planet without any scientific backup. And without real true scientific backup, you can't walk into the world of financing. Right?
Well, Winston, just tell Rob very briefly how your microbes were changed in a week by being next to the raw unit, the SFC unit.
So basically, I make fermented turmeric, was a very, very broad spectrum probiotics.
Yeah.
This has 5 major families rather than 1 major family, which is typical for what most probiotics are out there on the market. And so this is after 2 months of fermentation, everything is settled, quieted down, bottled, sealed. So you should have no more activity at this point. So we put it next to the machine for a whole solid week. And then I came back with a bottle that was not run with the equipment. And I opened that first and I made everybody taste it. And then I opened the bottle that was treated. And right off the bat, first of all, it restarted its fermentation process. It had gas. And when we tasted it, there was a big difference. The other one had no fizziness to it, kind of tasted flat. And then the stuff that was treated was fizzy. It had way more energy, like significant amount of more energy. It was very perceivable by all 3 of us. Not one of us didn't perceive it. And it tasted totally different, had a smoother taste, had a much more pleasant taste. So that was just 10 days. So that was the experiment that was kind of ended there. I didn't do any more fancier experiment, like to see if any sugar content changed, any of the other properties changed. We didn't have any testing of that nature, but I will obviously do that in the future because those tests, unfortunately, are extremely expensive, like $4,000 or $5,000 tests. So right off the bat, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I have scientific write-ups where I was helped, where somebody already financed the tests.
Okay.
One was, and that's not, the box is its own vortex thing. I have to explain to you. My major driving force is a storage medium for photons.
Okay.
And the photons will be basically reflected from the isotopes of the crystal back out.
Okay.
That has an influence on physical matter, on levels. We're finding out even more miraculous things day by day. So the first thing we have tested is we have created a phone chip. You know, everybody talks about mitigating EMF. And so we looked at what does EMF do to actually the cell structure of the body. So science is still debating that, but I believe there's a 4th state of matter. So we have solids, liquids, and gas, and I think there's plasma is the 4th state. in Egyptian ancient alchemy is that the plasma body is the Ka, is always described. But they also have figured out, and I've seen many, many lab reports, which we don't have to repeat. I trust in what I've seen. Under a microscope, the cell has a kind of like a coronal field, which is a plasmic state of water barrier.
Right.
EMF is unharmonious and disturbs that. It makes it thinner. So it becomes more permeable. So that disturbs our immunology and free radicals and all that stuff. So we have realized when we adding the phone chip to human cells, the connective cell tissue, aka fibroblasts, and have it written and notarized, I have the papers, are activated by 21%. These are the routers between your cells, you know, like an internet router. This is the communication station between your cells. So when they're activated by 21%, the the plasmic level of the water coronal field stays stable when introduced to EMF, meaning your cell defense against EMF is up.
Okay.
So I'm not touching EMF. I'm sending a bioresonance signal to your body to tell you metabolism up. And every time you use your phone, you have the chip you're holding in your hand and you get activated. So we have scientific proof that that works. That's talking micrograms. Mind you, the box that Frank has is like, 20 pounds heavy. So there's more stuff in it. So it has a wider range. Not only that, let me see. That is the chip introduced to the skin. I'm also working on EMF cards that you can put in your pocket or in your wallet, that you have a resonance signal always with you. It's called keeping the cells in bioresonance. What is bioresonance? Real simple. I look at, you take a potato, you put it in your kitchen, you let it sit for 2 weeks, it'll rot naturally. How come that a potato in a organic root cellar, not cement or limestone covered, lasts 7 months? Right. Because of the bioresonance. So I looked at root cellars, Niagara Falls, Pyramid Chambers, Sedona, Hawaii. And side note, why is it that these African trees in Hawaii they're growing 3 times faster than in Africa? Nobody pays attention. I pay attention. You know these African trees with the flat top?
Yep.
I don't know what they're called. They were imported once to Hawaii. They need 90 years to reach full height. In Hawaii, 20 years. Now, why is that? Is it the soil? No. It is how the energy cycles from the island. And that's based on all holy places where healing takes place and growth rate is activated. Negative ions, photons, and magnetic anomalies, as in magnetics that are high. You know, the low magnetics are actually bad. If you're in your house, your body's not really, really connected to the magnetic ground. And what's the magnetic level of Earth? 0.4 Gauss. It's like ultra, ultra weak. If you increase that, you bring the magnetic levels up, you are making it much more stable for living organisms to heal and come back. So also I observed, so I found those things because I lean on science that already has been proven. The Russians have found out in the 50s that photons at a charging level, that's their formula, 10 to the 15th, do something in the RNA that sends signals that tells the body automatic repair mode. That's before any supplements, before you take anything. And I looked at and partially also channeled that with my connection to the spheres. Vitamins direct light. Minerals store light. Enzymes are the balancers of light, and cells produce light. So when you want to talk enlightenment, you have to talk about your body. Intracellular communication is actually intrascalar. And when every cell in the body, 50 trillion cells, has their scalar waves and their photonic levels to a level where they communicate 100,000 light impulses a second, you are healthy. And almost nobody on this planet is that, because our environment did our damage to us. So I realized when you introduce high light levels to objects, and that's what happened to your turmeric, the biovital accessibility is reanimated. Life comes back because light is communicated. I have had a withered tree in front of my house, chopped in half and black, and I put silica quartz pebbles, size 0.8 millimeters, in the soil, no water. The tree came back. Why? Because I changed the information, the cellular communication takes place. Before any fertilizer, before any water, before any high-level things are introduced, what is the highest and fastest information, and almost instant? It's light. Also what we call scalar. It's instant. It happens in that moment. So if you see me on camera, I will show you the bamboo from my neighbor. I'll show the others. I'll witness that. The sun is on the opposite side of the bamboo. And the bamboo is reaching for my house where I have all my stuff installed. And you will witness, I'll show you. So let me see if I can either turn the camera around. That doesn't work. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
So this is the bamboo in my driveway. That bamboo comes, and as you follow me, this is the sun side. You see, this is the bamboo on the sun side.
Okay.
Yeah. That is on my neighbor's property. See how it's less green?
Yes, it's brown. It's half dying.
Yeah, it's actually dying. Now look at the bamboo that goes under my driveway, under the water line, coming into my driveway. You see how green that is?
Yes. And the bad news is it's running bamboo, so it'll invade your house in no time flat. You're going to have to remove that.
Oh yeah. I'm just working with the experiment, because before I had anything installed, this bamboo would not come here. It wasn't in my driveway. I wish I had pictures before. It took me a while to realize what's actually going on. So see here, it's green.
Yes.
It's thriving. I'm not putting even water on this. So again, now let's go to my tree. Yeah, I have to show you. This tree here, as you can see, was black stumps.
Okay.
So when it was chopped in half, there's a top part. See how the top part that was black, how everything explodes and grows out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because of the energy I have installed in the house, because I have pounds and pounds of that stuff in my house. And plants respond. They're all around my house. Everything responds. I have hummingbirds in my tree. I have bees. Everything is coming to my yard. But that's already normal here. Frank has just witnessed the change in his backyard. That basically the box is a life vortex. That anything that has to do with vital activity and life force is being enhanced and reactivated. And I tell people that want to tell me, yeah, that's some hippy dippy or some woo woo stuff. First of all, I have scientific papers, I have write-ups, I have printouts, I have experiments that have been done by German companies that are very, very meticulous about the outcome. Like if your stuff is bogus, they'll tell you you're bogus.
Mm-hmm.
So I told people what they can do at home. You take a liter of milk, pour that in a jar, and let it sit. What happens? It's gonna rot. It's gonna smell. It's gonna get fungal. It's gonna get real ugly, and you wanna throw it away. So when you use that same, you have to do it shielded. Pour 1 liter of milk in a bowl, and then add 1 of my charged pebbles with the light frequency in the milk. In 3 days, the dead milk gets biovital activity, reanimated, turns to yogurt, add some sugar, you can eat it. There you go.
And you're talking about obviously a homogenized standard crap milk from the supermarket. Nothing.
Yeah, like dead milk, like milk that's like dead. Like really, like a lot of people don't know, that's like dead fat.
Yes.
Dead cooked.
Right.
Killed. Thing
Wow.
there actually that life enhancing.
Yeah.
And you can turn that into healthy probiotics and yogurt and bring it back.
That's awesome. The application is, the sky is not the limit. It's beyond the
So I'll
sky.
tell you how I can bring back. That'll cost more for lakes because we need more of the substance. So basically, yeah, well, if people or investors are smart karmically, they would want to invest in fixing the planet. That's all I have to say. Because if you're moving on after this body, you will be questioned what you have done on this planet before you leave. I had three near-death experiences. We are under evaluation by higher forces. Make no mistake, that's absolutely real, whether people can perceive it or not. And we will be questioned. What have we done in our time? And that we were gifted here on this planet and to support this planet. We will be asked, and we have to answer. And all of those rich folks, and I don't care if they Rockefeller or Khashoggi or whatever the names are, they all will be questioned. There's no escape. There's no escape. Even if people see it or not, this will come. But where was I going with that?
Well,
Basically,
we have a question. Frank and I have a question. You know, there's recently an oil spill in Mauritius. Could this technology help bring back the life there?
of
Does
course,
it get like oil and
it'll
all that?
activate plankton, and it'll activate the plankton, and the plankton eats the oil.
Yes.
But we need to activate the plankton.
And this is where I can see your piece of equipment will significantly enhance my water conditioners and various different other things.
Oh yeah.
Because we're using some force, and of course we still have to play the game where it's still within reality of other people.
Yeah. Well, that's basically a funny story. Is like when I spoke to my extraterrestrial contact, I specifically explained, it's like, if I don't have more than potential, if I don't have anything physical to show people that can't see you and can't perceive you like I can, we have nothing here. I need help and assistance and what you want to call it, downloading or remembering what I did at Atlantis or off planet as a soul, so I can do something in the physical. So the guy that only understands, okay, you can clear water waves and there's money in it, and that's what he understands. Well, then if money is what he understands, all he needs to see is the technology working and he making money. Right. That helps us. You know, so we can anchor into the dense state of the third dimensionality, but activate that person, also change that person. Meaning when you deal with my technology, it's not only that it brings life force back, but it's also bringing you back. It brings consciousness back into your system. Higher awareness.
Yeah, and this is a different experiment that was done by someone else, and very similar to what you have been discussing. I just wanted to throw this out so that you have data that we can observe. One of the things, he has this, whatever his technology, different from yours, I'm sure. He has no real scientific, just hearsay of what he documented, okay? And basically, he's in Australia, and they had this great big pond. It's a pond that's, I shouldn't say pond, I should say a lagoon that's an inlet from the ocean, so it's salt water.
Yeah.
So he put his towers there, and the first thing that happened, some really poisonous and toxic type of frogs started to eject from the pond. They went out of the pond and died on land. That was step one. A lot of algae that was toxic also rolled over and died.
Yeah.
And slowly, the environment started to improve. And then this is what interesting happened. This is 2017. One whale came in to this lagoon. It was the first whale witnessed since the early 1900s. That's 2017. 2018, they had 64 whales come into the lagoon. Well, whales are not going to come in unless you really fix the place up and there's lots of food to eat. They're not going to come in.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this is something very significant. One should not just ignore it.
Yeah.
And anyhow, that's just some data that.
Yeah. So basically,
wrong things get ejected, and I do swimming pools,
Yeah.
I use 100% zero chlorine. I just use hydrogen peroxide, or I will use ozone machine to inject in it. And of course, in the nighttime when I go swimming, the frogs jump into the pool with me and swim around too, because it's toxic.
Yeah, because it's natural water and they
Yeah.
can smell.
I mean, a frog cannot jump into a chlorinated pool and do too very well, not with their thin.
Yeah, well, they smell it. They will avoid that because they can smell it.
Yep. So anyway, that's some data I just thought you should have, that, you know, the whales came in and that the toxic frogs ejected themselves from the thing and died on the land, which I thought that was very significant.
Yeah, anything parasitical or you can say not so divine in order will die. They found the Dr. Bovis, a French guy, found that out in the pyramid chamber, that parasites in the chamber, in the king's chamber, die.
Huh.
Meat mummifies, parasites die. Even rodents die or try to escape. So there are beings on this planet, even though say everything is under the source, but there are beings on this planet. When the light is divine and in order, certain beings they can't survive in that.
Well, we
Like
certainly have a
mosquitoes,
lot of people
like
in
mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes they're not maybe they're not such a divine design. Who knows? So anyway, I can build a device which I have tested. Is I put my nanoparticles in a glass bulb, add holy water or highly ionized Pray 2 water, and seal that glass bulb. And we put it in a fish tank in Germany. The pH water regulated. Negative algae wouldn't grow, or bad would disappear, and it would produce oxygen. No electricity needed.
Very interesting. I have done some things not quite that good, but yes, I change my fish tank water once every 5 or 6 years, which other people change it once a month, right?
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
And I just using my microbes and a macro air bubbler. So I'm using bubbles, but just those two pieces of tech, nothing else. So
Yeah.
So
also, we built a chamber of light, which I have to basically, when I have property, replicate here. And we put camembert cheese on the floor in the chamber. Let it sit for 1 year. It mummified. So we added water to it. It came back, hasn't aged a day, and we could eat it. Same goes with eggs. Eggs crystallize. They dry out and then they crystallize. You can let that sit for 1 year undisturbed. Add water to it, make an omelet, and you're fine.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, I know when you grow food really, really well, like we've done with tomatoes, and normal tomatoes will decay, but really properly grown tomatoes, you can leave it on a regular air-conditioned house, and it will not decay. It will shrivel up and dry, but it won't decay. And a year, or at least the experiment was not even a year. The experiment was 2.5 months sitting on the person's desk. We came back and sliced it open. We all ate it.
I grew mushrooms in a tank.
Okay.
This size, and then I put my photon charger under the tank, and grew them again, and they were kind of like three times my hand, like super high,
right,
and super thick and super rich.
And how did it taste?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we are definitely got the genuine cutting edge technology for turning this planet around.
Yeah. Also, they were more potent.
Yeah. Really
they were probably also nutritionally richer.
Come again?
They must have also been nutritionally richer.
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine a banana is that in a bad shape that you have to eat 12 bananas to cover your potassium levels. That's how whack our food is. our food is deficient. All of our food, even whole foods. Make no mistake, because organic is not organic. It comes still from fertilized ground, and when it's fertilized, it is not organic. I don't care what they tell me.
I used to grow bananas in my other house, and after eating my own bananas, I can no longer eat a commercial banana because it tastes so bad to me. Because
It's a different. It's like
our
grand.
bananas was sour and sweet and had banana flavor.
And people don't know that they plug bananas, strawberries, or everything in the store gets plugged prematurely, so it ripens in the store.
Yep.
That means it's all of it is crippled. We got to take the control back. So here's about and Eddie would know this. Agriculture is what I observed with my grandfather. I'm half German. He showed me how you activate soil. That was before I even knew that I needed that later on to develop my super soil. He said, you don't take treated wood. Burning Home Depot wood does not fertilize your acres. That's crap. You take fallen wood from the trees, from the forest, preferably not in areas that have been sprayed. He told me that in the 70s. He burned that to ash, that is original minerals, and you take that ash and you put that into your soil to reactivate and bring your soil back. Nothing else. In America, all soil in America is 6 inches high of fertilizer and 2 inches of pesticide. There is no organic food. That is a myth. That's a myth.
Ron.
Eddie is
Yes?
talking to you, Ra. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Eddie.
Hey, Ron, Winston, could you share with everyone your Mayan magic terra preta from Mayan? Let me see just for a few minutes, if you don't mind.
I guess I won't mind, since we are talking about the aliens and whatnot. I will tell you my end of the story. This is 2012, and one night I had a recall back in the days, 8,000 years ago. The Mayans taught me how to make terra preta. Terra meaning dirt, preta,
Yeah.
wrongly translated, means black. The correct translation is Spanish slang term, black as in strong. So it's strong dirt. That's the correct translation.
Uh-huh.
So the Mayans taught me the theory how to make terra preta, so that I could make terra preta no matter where I was on planet Earth. So the soil, he says, if you follow this formula, go find the ingredients that will fulfill this formula, and you will have terra preta no matter where you go. So I built terra preta in 2012 here in Kentucky, United States. And it took me only one try. And I made 10 4x4 by 40-foot beds. And the person that this was built in his yard, where his mom had actually funded this whole project, what happened was he got sick, couldn't maintain the place. He went to the hospital. So the yard was left on its own device. So they planted the seeds, and for a year, no one took care of it. He had okra that was 14 feet tall. Okay, the really impressive one was romaine lettuce, and instead of being and mustard, both of those things did the crazy thing. They're supposed to be like 3-4 inches wide, 10, 12 to 18 inches long. Well, try 18 inches wide and 3 feet tall. So when he came back out from the hospital, that yard looked like a garbage can. I mean, everything was completely planted in the wrong space and time. It was all too tight. I mean, it really looked like a garbage can. You couldn't even walk down the pathway because everything had grown so incredibly, with no care from anyone for a year. So that was my experiment with terra preta. Now, obviously, terra preta, if you have a real terra preta, you know you're supposed to grow 3 to 7 times that of normal, decent organic growth, right? So that was my experience with terra preta and the Mayans. And there you have it.
So we all have links. I mean, Hermes Trismegistus said it, and Plato said it. I know it's a fickle subject for some, but you have to be equipped to understand these things. In the old shamanic traditions, our forefathers took psychedelics, and they didn't take that to trip or what you see, you know, in discos and clubs. They did that to connect to their ancestral knowledge, which is embedded in your cell code. And I've went to the Ethnobotanical Museum in Berlin. They showed a magic mushroom statue that's 20,000 years old, Mayan, but it's 20,000 years old.
Yeah.
Goes way back. It shows the spirit in the mushroom. It shows it as a teacher. And those that are blessed enough and they follow the instructions, they get the knowledge. People don't know, the Gattaca code, the sequencing of the DNA was found on LSD. The guy who got the Nobel Peace Prize, I forgot his name, he was a geneticist, but he had no idea how to sequence gene codes. So, you know, one day he microdoses LSD and has a vision, and he sees this spinning helix that everybody knows. Everybody uses his model. He tripped. He went into the scientific realm of higher dimensions, and he was shown that the RNA and the connector parts are all amino acids, and like glutamine and you know all these amino acids. And he realized it's actually a word. And then he scribbled from his trip out of the higher dimensions of knowledge what a DNA code looks like. And then they used the Planck method to measure that. He was correct, and it was accepted. He got the Nobel Peace Prize. So I tell people and some listeners, please respect LSD and magic mushrooms. The magic mushrooms come from the ancient tradition. If it wasn't for Maria Sabina, chief shaman in Peru that spoke ancient Mazatec still, if she hadn't introduced that as a curandero to the Western civilization, to this day, you and I would not know of this. This requires investigation and thorough research. I have researched in Switzerland, they heal schizophrenia with LSD. People realize who they are, they come back, they're normal. 98% gets it right. The 2% are just people that they don't meet the requirements to go to the doctor on time, but they actually all normalize.
And probably,
their brains.
I would guess that they gave the LSD at probably 1/1,000,000th dose than the normal druggie consumption quantity. I would guess that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you go overboard, I mean, you can't OD on LSD because again, same with smoking. You can take but so much, and then you're just high, and you're just sitting there, and you're not going no further. Your body has an automatic shutdown system. You can't override that. People don't understand. It's not recreational. Same with mushrooms. When the shamans do the scenario and they sit and they do the mushroom, the brain has a DMT barrier, which produced by the pineal gland called dimethyltryptamine. For 2 weeks, you can eat all the mushrooms in the world, magical. You will have no effect and no trip because your body shuts it down, because you need to integrate the night you have had visions or you sat with your ancestors. And I'm looking into, with my technology, into how can we get the brain state back into that gamma state, into the naturalized psychedelic state that we used to be when we were Lemurian. We used to be that when we were Atlantean. We were psychic, we were telepathic, we were teleempathic, and that got lost by us consuming fallen consciousness, if you will. We were consuming fallen consciousness, and that degraded us. And we need to bring that back with all the technology that Winston has mentioned. Can you imagine if you would eat a strawberry out of Lemuria? You trip your brains out because of the nutritional value. For the first time, your body will have values it never had. All of a sudden, you're seeing elementals, you're seeing auric fields. In order to see in the higher dimensional realms, you require refined minerals, vitamins, and enzymes, so your cell can actually deliver what's here to deliver. And I think our natural state is seeing that. Too many times, you know, I take that very serious when kids say they talk to little beings from the woods, and they tell them things that they can't possibly know, and they're 4 years old, and Mommy and daddy goes, whoa, kids are so very creative in their fantasy, but they have detailed information. Or grandma lost the keys and all the shiny objects in the house disappeared. And the little one is like 5-year-old says, well, the gnome says it's time to reveal that now. I show you where he put it. And they find all the missing objects all in one place where no child could reach, behind the chimney in some little carved out corner where all the objects are neatly placed. I'm like, yeah, we got to wake up. There's stuff going on here. You have to wake up to we lost a lot of stuff along the way. We got to go back to our divine self. You know, they used to walk with us. You know, it's in ancient text. It says the angels, the elementals walked with us, and it goes scientific. Let's say a sylph, which is an elemental that organizes the clouds and erases the chemtrails, is an elemental energy interface as a being for you to see when you're ready that shows you how this earth regulates itself. You know? Well, the elementals assist, as in scientifically, there's stuff going on, whether we see them or not.
Hey, Rob, one more thing, if I may interject. Winston has a tremendous background on chemtrails. Can you tell him a little bit about the soaps and their work with the chemtrails?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just basically, I wanted to inject a different idea to back up your thing. One of the things I realized about fertilizing the soil that farmers do, they put 1,000,000 times too much fertilizer. So at 1,000,000 times too much fertilizer, of course, they kill the soil-based microorganisms. Nothing can live in such a toxic thing. So now the plant has to go crazy and somehow try to adapt to the toxic chemicals and grow this nutritional less thing while the plant survives and looks kind of pretty-ish. So that's one thing I wanted to say. But back to the chemtrails. This is just hardcore science. Me and some of my soil-based lab testing people, I says, it's you and I, the guys that you see in the mirror, that's going to have to overcome this chemtrail. We know what's happening. The chemtrails are dumping super high pH rain down. Rain's supposed to be 4 or 5 pH. And it's routine in the last 10 years that it's been 7.5 to as high as 9.68 is what I measured here in Clearwater 3 years ago. So that's like between 10,000 to almost close to 100,000 times too alkaline. So that's the problem was the chemtrail. So high pH rain, you prevent all the calcium, magnesium from being able to be dissolved and picked up by the plants. This is why I said earlier, all your plants have this pale green. You don't see this dark, rich green anymore because the chemtrails is neutralizing, or shouldn't say the word neutralize, is over-alkalizing the soil so badly that the existing minerals that are there cannot be absorbed. So basically, I have come up with this lab, cheap solutions that can be correct your gardening, your soil, your farming process by re-injecting super high acids and irons and magnesiums and calciums as a foliar spray onto the plants so that they can overcome the chemtrails. And that's not even addressing your type of equipment, which I'm sure will greatly enhance what we're doing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Absolutely.
Winston, I just want to mention one thing that Rob can tell you about if he wants to. There's another element, so to speak, regarding addressing this, and that's the sill piece. But anyway, you can comment on that if you want to, Rob. I think it'd be very helpful if you would.
So chemtrails, I mean, I can do so much stuff that we're doing it absolutely wrong. So one thing is to prevent chemtrails to begin with and help regulate the rain. And I try to reach Boeing, but I can't go to 55 lawyers to reach somebody who can actually do something. Well, I can tell you what I can do.
Right.
I can build a device where the exhaust from a Boeing engine would, on a subatomic level, be harmonized. and the carcinogenic level will drop up to 89%, and you'll have no more chemtrail in the air. I will actually activate the air on a scalar level to correct the original rain pattern. And that's what airplanes are cutting in half, literally. Because the technology is not being harmonized to resonate with nature.
Yeah, it's
I can do
deliberately
that with
done that
rocket
way.
fuel, I can do that with jet fuel, I can do that with any type of fuel.
And I think you're going to have to think of a new delivery system than that. There's too much stop from humanoids on that department. They're too
Yeah,
long and few.
it's a freaking dinosaur. You can't reach nobody up there.
Yes, there's nobody home. So, okay, so we have to figure out a different delivery system. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but we have to figure out something different.
The Sylphy delivery system, the Sylphys, the etheric entities that are nourished by this light that you specialize in amplifying, and their role, their delivery system in a broader sense to the chemtrail dilemma.
Well, we can build towers with my devices.
Yeah.
You just need money to move resources. I can set up towers that will regulate the air. Like, let's say, you know, with a let's say a 3-acre property, I can affect 100-mile radius, if not more, intense.
With one tower?
Like towers, I would build towers out of my devices.
He said with one tower,
Yeah.
100 hectares?
100 miles.
100-mile radius of weather regulation would be effective.
That would be a tower I would be very dedicated to helping you build.
Yeah, I will build it regardless. I mean, it sounds funny, but I have to bring that in.
I
would
you will.
go up.
I know you will. I'm just saying there are some things you're going to need. I'm just volunteering that I can bring.
Yeah. I'll show you. I mean, as you have to understand, I'm reading texts of the Anunnakis and the Garden Eden and the mythological stuff, and I always stumble upon how is it that the so-called gods that came from the sky had their facilities they stayed in and the pyramids they stayed in. They never left that. And they said those that left started aging. And I'm like, what did they do? What happened when they left it? Why was everybody so rejuvenated in these places? Well, first of all, a pyramid is a capacitor. A pyramid is also a vortex generation machine that brings in biodynamic and biocosmic downloads for consciousness and plant growth. And if you dismantle that and take it apart, it goes into a mess. I mean, look at Egypt turned into a desert, and the way we're living with 60 hertz in and around the house and satellite, we're bombarding ourselves with chaotic and undivine energy.
Absolutely.
And seeing that, when I did my shamanic quest with psychedelics, I could see the undivine energies. I could see that we're calling in bad spirits with bad technology. That is all our own fault. It's not Earth's fault or the cabal or any reptilians. It's humans that fell from consciousness, that got lazy, and they reverted to bad technology. And that's the curse since Atlantis, when the Brotherhood split and they said, we don't need the source, we don't need the divine a voice from the source, from the center of the universe. We can build technology, we don't depend on God. And that's when the fall began. And that affected all our technology. And I'm getting the knowledge that this is the time now to bring the divinity back to what we are producing. That's why we're also being hit with this COVID moment. We're being shown that our systems have cracks. The cracks are more than showing. Shit is being obliterated from credit institutions, loans.
Yep.
See how many things are collapsing right now? Right now, it's like if you have to be of value, you better be of value with what you do, or you will be in trouble sooner or later.
Yeah. If Trump doesn't get back in the next 4 years, we will have civil war.
Yeah, let's concentrate not on that.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, we are here to build what we can. Doesn't matter if freaking Kermit the Frog is the president. Doesn't matter.
Hey,
What matters is that we set up what we came here to set up.
Right. Absolutely
Influence
correct.
with resonance as much as we can. That's our job.
Absolutely
And that's what I
right.
focus on. Because trust me, I can get lost in conspiracy theory. I give you a little joke. When they tell me Obama is a reptilian and his wife is transsexual, you lose me. You're losing me. Because that's insanity, you know? It's too much for me. And that doesn't make your tomatoes grow in your backyard, doesn't it?
Nope.
Yeah, so.
Can we learn more about this power, Ron? Can we learn a little bit more? Do you have any details more to share, or it's just a seed idea?
Well, all I can say is that we need to set up more systems so we can demonstrate, do our own research. Once we have funding, you know, see, like Masaru Emoto's laboratory is $1,000 a photograph to show you crystals form in the water. So not only that you need one photo, you need two photos. You need one before and one after. I see a few new faces. Please watch on my YouTube channel. In my channel, Arcturus Ra on YouTube, I'm showing EMF protection chip. I'm showing the scientific data. I'm showing the original Masaru Emoto pictures that are our pictures. They're not from his book. Because, you know, everybody copies and uses him as an example, but these are not their tests. This is our test with our copyright, our picture with our substance, to make that clear. I have another video up where I'm doing a road test with a Chevy that I'm turning from a factory setting 26.5 miles per gallon on the highway into a 49.5 to the gallon on the highway with my technology, because I'm harmonizing the flow structure of the fuel, and the carcinogens disappear. I did that with truckers, but it's like you need $10,000 to put a truck on the dyno system to have it tested. I don't have that kind of money. So we want to move it there and then put up that we can actually show that we can actually influence physical matter with what we're doing. That's all I can say.
Frank had a question. Frank, do you want to ask him the question about the electric cars?
Yeah, I'm working on that. I had something phenomenal happen. This was by accident, so I think this is a gift from God. I feel like I have the Promethean fire in my hands. Serious. Now check this out. I have a little camera flashlight that you have to charge for a battery, and it's like a high lit LED. It's like a tiny cube you mount that on your camera for lighting. So this thing, you know, I was like, crap, when I'm filming in 2.5 hours, the thing fails me. The battery doesn't really last that long. This is just crap. So I realized I put it to the side, you know, I have to film real quick because I'm running out of battery. So I'm rushed. I'm like, I need a light that lasts much longer. So I'm looking for technology, you know, high tech online that has something that can give me, like, I don't know, 6 hours or 9 hours. So I'm placing my light on my charging device to play with it. Lithium ion battery. Let it sit for a couple of days. This thing last time lasted 10 hours.
Wow.
So I know I can extend battery life and the capacitance.
Exactly.
Because I'm changing the subatomic structure of how the battery is built to begin with. See, consummation is based on how chaotic is that to begin with. So if your battery is structured, it loses less charge.
Right.
You change the time around that thing. And I read also an article that kind of got me the idea where a dude put a car battery in a pyramid.
We lost your
And he had
video.
that thing run for 2 years.
Okay. Oh.
So 2 years, the car battery, without recharging, would light a light bulb sitting in the center of a pyramid where the measurements were accurate. So I'm like, if he changes the time, the way ions discharge from a battery, he can preserve basically battery life on a subatomic level. Well, I can do that with my device.
Exactly.
Now imagine all these battery operated cars where people are blasted with EMF. Well, you need my installation. You just don't know it yet.
Mm.
You know?
So, what is your actual website that we can go to?
Okay, it's raw-key.com.
Raw-T as in Tom?
Key as in key to the lock.
T to the lock.
K-E-E-K-E-Y. Key.
K-E-Y.
K.
Raw key.
Oh, rawkey.com.
Yeah. Raw-key. Yeah. .com.
Okay. And because I wanted to talk to you and share my information and get your phone number, I would like to set up something that I can do with the additional lake that I have not touched with
Yeah.
your equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any particular phone number that you would like me to have? That's
I can send you that information.
928-239-4218. Because my phone is crappy. I'm still trying to get a service. And it's during the COVID, like my office is closed. It's a little complex. Because I want an unlocked phone and I want a chip. And they like, if you have a prior number, we can transfer. I don't want no transfer. I want a brand new service. No it's getting complex. And then I have a stable number. So it's getting there. I'm figuring it out.
okay. I'm very excited. So I definitely will do my first experiment.
Yeah, yeah.
Once it's done, wrapped up, I'll share you with my information, what we got, and then we can do the same experiment with another lake, which we already have somebody volunteering it, and he might even pay us some money, which is, once I have one proof, then I definitely want to chisel some money so they can fund our project, since we all need extra money. And then by the time we have 2 or 3 of these things, then that's where we're going to start rolling into really demanding some money so that we can get funded and not be hand to mouth all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, Winston, I wanted to add something to that, if I may.
Yes.
I have a contact. They grow 4,000 acres of heirloom grains and 31 varieties of heirloom apples. They have 4,000 acres. They actually have more land in cultivation organically than they'll probably be willing to believe. But I'm mentioning that to you because offline, I want to converge a couple things. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear about your agricultural innovation, and that is if we can weave this in, and I'm pretty sure we can do some weaving with your agricultural past lives and those of Ross. So offline, I'll tell you both about that. But it's specific to agriculture, but 4,000 acres, let's just say they're highly profitable.
Okay.
Hey, if farmers realize the super soil that I got, the party's over. No more pesticides needed and no fertilizer needed. So my super soil consists of nanoparticles of a borosilicate crystal, which is lab produced, but we need that lab produced because it's the clearest form of a crystalline substance as a storage medium is needed. I mix that with oyster powder, like from the shells, with ash from untreated wood, and mix it in the soil. And even if you have dead acres, it brings it back. So I'd love to, you can also text me to that number, Winston.
Okay.
Send you a sample of that soil, and then you mix that with whatever soil and tell me what you can do with it,
Okay. I will do that.
Yeah. So how much would you need? A pound?
That'll be adequate.
Okay, so I'll fix a pound. You'll
Okay.
text me your address.
I will.
We gotta get things going, and what you do is you take pictures.
Okay.
In these pictures you send to me because I'm uploading that to YouTube to show people, hey, we have proof here. Yes.
Yes. Documentation and proving truth is probably the weakest point that most us out of the box inventors run into, is that we don't.
Yeah, take your phone. Even what you do at home, document everything. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm documenting the wazoo out of everything I have. Everything is on YouTube. Everybody that has questions, anybody wants to investigate, they can watch my channels. I show my experiments. I show how the stuff grows. I show how it works. And yeah, I mean, my biggest dream would be to drop submergible superpower photon cells and raise the scalar level of the barrier reef in Australia and bring it back. I know I can do it. you know.
You can start with Mauritius. They just have the oil spill, and it's
Yeah, for that,
1200.
yeah. Mauritius would be nice, but you know, we need a what do you call it? A cargo ship. We need pre-produced and probably millions of dollars, and then go across the sea, and also with a diving team, and then submerge these things. That takes money and time and staff. So
yeah, we're talking
no
about
capacity right now, zero.
20 million on a minimum mini budget.
Yeah.
20 million
Yeah.
mini budget.
And I have yet to see an angelic investor that says, you know what, I give you the money. I don't want no rights from anything to anything. Here's 20 million, save the planet. I have yet to see that.
Well, I'm working on it.
Well, we get that consciousness going because I was told in readings that people will come and support my stuff without going for grabs. Like, we're about to share and help, and not how much can I get out of it and freaking slaughter the golden goose. You know how that tale goes.
Yes, definitely.
You know what, Rob? You know what? We're all here.
We're here. I mean, Eddie and I have been at this track for 30 plus years. And this last 1 year, Eddie has pulled in just crazy amount of people. And surprisingly, a lot of the crazy amount of people are willing to share the data.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is unusual. I mean, being an inventor yourself and myself, you know, that's not part of our nature on planet Earth.
No, right now I give it to the hands of you say God. Like, if anybody wants to steal or corrupt us, that's on them. You know, I'm doing my job. I can only do my job. That's it.
You have one good thing on your side. This technology is so advanced that you cannot use it for destructive purposes.
No, you can't. Impossible.
The Russians tried. Of course, they ended up with a lot of dead laboratory technicians, and that's why there's so much good stuff coming out from Russia, because they gave up trying to use it for destructive purposes and handed it over to the Russian Medical Society. And so there's a lot of good machines coming out from the Russian.
Yeah. Russians are way open to metaphysics, more than the US. They know. They already know certain things, and they test that. You know.
And so, yeah, next to the Germans, the Russians, I would call it the frequency radionics technology. They're pretty darn advanced.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that I don't read Russian, because I'd love to read some of the stuff. But.
Oh, I'm studying Dr. Kozyriev. That will be part of my celestial chamber. He knows how to get you out of the quantum field by putting you in a steel pipe. Well, that will be the encasement for my holodynamic medbed. I'm combining technologies.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline about this person he's referring to. By the way, I have several people that are involved in this group. None of you know too much just yet that speak fluent Russian, and they're Russian agronomists and many Russian physicists. But I'll share that with a few people that are interested in those particular fields, like Winston, you, and Rob, whoever's really wants to know, just so you all know.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about with the Dr. Kozyriev is called the Kozyriev mirror. Even David Wilcock mentioned it, but you should study that. It's freaking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
You know, can you summarize that for the listeners? Because that is an amazing. This person was Nikola Tesla of Russia, one of the greatest visionary astrophysicists, biophysicists in all of Russia.
Yeah, that guy has built stuff where your psyche goes up 400%, and if you have the money, you can build it yourself. It's all online. It's ridiculous.
Can you just give a little Cliff's notes on the mirror, and what that means? His mirror.
Kozyriev mirror means basically this: if I'm taking your Merkabah chakratic field out of the quantum distortion of Earth, meaning a steel pipe 6 foot length, 4 feet wide, and you lay inside. After 10 minutes, your psyche goes up 400%. All the stuff is boosted, and you are no longer under the influence of the distortion waves of Earth. And he found that out in the 50s. So they tested that by putting somebody in a steel pipe somewhere in the outskirts, 500 miles away from the main lab, and they had telepathic connections by laying in the pipe, like they could hear each other. So just because he has a method of shielding you where you are kind of like in a dynamic Faraday cage, and he removes your soul particles from the quantum and planetary energy levels of Earth just by placing you in a steel pipe. I mean, it sounds so simple, but you have to find those things. And then he built different models like Fibonacci. He built a spinning version where people lost orientation, kind of like Jodie Foster contact, but without all of this apparatus and electricity, just this thing spinning. And some people ran because they saw ghosts or apparitions, or extraterrestrial contact was just taking place because their bodies were tuned to the original internal frequency that's in your heart. That's what everybody's looking for, and that's what you can call enlightenment. When you can hold that high dimensional frequency and you stay in that gamma state, you will see things you're thinking you're in the greatest sci-fi of yourself. So that's what the Kozriak is about.
Could you spell the word Kozriak for me?
That's Kozrev, Kozrev.
So Kozrev.
Yeah, I'll text you. Text me and I'll text you his name.
I
Fantastic.
watched a documentary on YouTube about that.
Yeah.
His first name was Nikolai. By the way, he was so brilliant that Stalin was so afraid he incarcerated this guy for 11 years, and that's where he had the most brilliant revelations. He was that determined in astrophysics.
Yeah, he has built even more stuff that I haven't even touched yet. I'm using basically I'm using what's fragmented. I'm looking at Kozrev, I'm looking at Tesla, I'm looking at Einstein, I'm looking at Reif, and I'm looking at Wilhelm Reich, and I'm asking myself, what did these scientists not combine? And I'm allowing myself aloof, no idea. Let's combine and see what happens. Let's mix, I don't know. It's like, let's mix turmeric with pepper and see what happens. Oh, I like that taste. It's actually working. That's what I do. I'm an alchemist.
Well, I'd really like to learn more about the tower when we have a chance, Ross, so I'll just leave that alone for now. Does anyone else like Robbie? Would they like to ask anything? Robbie's been, I think, still on the phone. Nada's friend.
I have asked, I have chatted, but I haven't gotten a response. So I don't know if, and then we have also Jason and obviously Anthony Jude. I don't know if anybody has any questions. This would be the right time to ask, please. So unmute yourselves and speak. Ask the question.
How about Jason? Because I don't think we've heard from him at all, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No questions so far? No questions.
Stuff is overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of information shared right now, and this is being recorded. So I will again transform it into YouTube so that everybody can then see it and maybe digest it at your own pace, you know, or share it or whatever. And then we are going to have another call with Ra and Dr. Sam from the Bosnian pyramids, which we have had a couple weeks ago, the initial call. So now we can go in depth and share more information, because he has a lot of knowledge and contacts. He has invited all the scientists of the world to come and explore the Bosnian pyramids and what they have to offer and what is there to be found. So it is open. It's an open project for everybody. to join him on. So that's going to happen on August 23rd, which I believe is Sunday, and it's going to be noontime Eastern time, so that Professor Sam, who is living in Bosnia, you know, it's not a midnight for him, so it's going to be a decent time. It's going to be like 6 p.m. for him. It's 6-hour difference. So that's another opportunity, and I don't know what else is going to come our way, but if you have any thoughts, questions, ideas, just share them, and we'll follow up. So,
Yeah, I can show you real quick
go ahead.
that I built a license plate where I'm directing scalar waves just by symbolism on a plate. And I'm testing it on my car right now. These are the things that I just bring in. That just came in like last week. So
Wow, awesome.
so
And
this
tell us,
will come
what is that going to do?
system that will well, it's going to harmonize the waves around your in and around your car. The psychic turbulences will be minimized, and it comes with a combo of a fuel diviner, so it will also help you to save in fuel consumption.
That's great.
Bringing cosmic into your car. So it's a lot of stuff I'm developing right now as we speak, because I have these inputs. It's ongoing with me. So every day there's something that I find out. Now I'm working on an EMF protector shield card that you can put in your pocket. The substance here is the photon chip, and it brings the resonance of the body up. I want the body also to be in galactic communication, so I put a crop circle on the back of the card.
Wonderful. And when is that available?
So that's soon. I'm printing them right now on my laser. So I'm still waiting for products so I can put the chips in. And then you have the EMF shielding cards, and you have that for your pocket, and you'll have that for your phone.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So obviously it seems that we need to keep ongoing and sharing all the good news that are happening along the way. Yes. And Ra is going to keep us updated. And we can bring more people in and share this with others so that everybody gets on board. The more people we can educate and empower with these tools, I think the greater the effects on our planet, right?
And I keep working, even when I find funding. With my success, I will fund other things where I believe they need funding. Like this continues, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, good. Excellent.
Great. Well, okay, so we have been on here since 9 Eastern time. It's 10:48 p.m. my time, so we've been on for quite some time. I know we had a little bit of discombobulated time, you know, with the start, but nevertheless, I think we have learned a lot and shared a lot and shared our energies with each other, so, and our experiences as well. So thank you. I wish you all a good night, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 23rd at noontime Eastern time. Okay?
Yeah.
And I will send everybody the Zoom as soon as I have it in the YouTube, because it's too long to be sent like this. It won't go. So I have to. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Good night. God bless you. All right. Sleep well.
Good night. Good night. Aloha.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha, everyone.
Thank you. Aloha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.